Sanger has declined every major network television news request for an interview about his dealings with former client and friend Michael Jackson. But he agreed to meet with Key News anchor reporter Joe Gale. In part 2 of this exclusive interview, Mr. Sanger shares some of his thoughts and memories in his own words.
He considered me to be a friend, and I considered him to be a friend. And it just, a friend died. What can I tell you?
As his attorney and friend of 16 years, Bob Sanger vividly recalls his friendship and working relationship with Michael Jackson, whose public image often wavered between that of the king of pop, wanting to recapture his youth at Neverland Ranch, to the calculated mogul who, around his often baffling public behavior, carefully constructed his image.
What resonates, the big thing, is that the man was an incredible genius and very bright and very well read. He was really quite something. A lot of depth to his genius and abilities. Not just a choreographer and a songwriter, but really a poet and a very sensitive human being. And when you're talking to him in his house, and all of a sudden you see that there's a letter from President Bush just sitting on the table, and there's another letter from Steven Spielberg just hanging off the piano, and you said, well, okay, he runs in slightly different circles, than some of us do.
But Jackson's career began to disintegrate and reached perhaps his darkest moment in 2003, when he was indicted on child molestation charges. Sanger recalls a break during the entertainer's trial in Santa Maria, when he found himself alone with his exhausted client.
Right in the middle, he says, Bob, you're from Virginia, aren't you? And I said, yeah, that's right. He said, I love Virginia. And I said, well, I do too. I said, I miss those rolling green hills, He says, oh, yes, that's beautiful. I said, yeah, the Shenandoah Valley. And he says, yeah, the Shenandoah. And he started singing O Shenandoah. So I started singing O Shenandoah. And we're singing together, and all of a sudden, at some point, I realized I was doing a duet with Michael Jackson.
On June 13, 2005, Michael Jackson was acquitted of all charges against him by a jury that absorbed 3 months of often lurid testimony about his life. Jackson was now free to resurrect a career and repair his public persona.
Grand juries in 93, exonerated again in 95, 96, and that 6-month trial that we did. And then he had the criminal trial, where Tom Izzo and I tried it, and he was exonerated again. Now, how many times does somebody have to be exonerated to be exonerated? In my opinion, this should just be a footnote in the history of Michael Jackson.
Sanger says, like so many, he too was excited about Jackson's upcoming tour and was as shocked as anyone when on June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson, whose story of celebrity and excess took him from musical boy wonder to global pop superstar to sad figure haunted by lawsuits, paparazzi, and plastic surgery, was pronounced dead at UCLA Medical Center. He was 50 years old.
The history of Michael Jackson is the history of a choreographer, a songwriter, a musician, a good, kind, loving person who did a tremendous amount of good in the world.